and welcome to the Doctors Who podcast. My name is Chris.
My name is Chip.
My name is Brian.
And today we are discussing our new book.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, we finished the other one, so...
My nose itches. I'm not on cocaine or anything.
Oh. Someone must be talking about you? Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
So the last two books, Chip and I have both read and Brian had not read. So we told Brian that he gets to pick the next book because we felt bad for doing this to him twice in a row. So Brian, without divulging what it is yet, what made you pick what you picked?
Well, back when I was in grade school, we always had to read a book every quarter in order to get good marks on our report cards, whatever. And at that time, I started watching some old Star Trek footage, and, I was watching some TOS, a little bit of TNG, and I really wanted to read something about sci-fi, about space. And so the librarian was like, nah, you should read something that's nonfiction. And I was like, nah, I'm going to read science fiction. So the first science fiction book that I picked up when I was in middle school, or like 6th grade, roughly, was this book.
I thought we were going to drum roll and he was going to do the big...
All right.
I don't actually drum roll. I'm not a drummer. I'm a trombone player.
And it is Ender's Game
All
by
right.
Orson Scott Card.
Very cool. Now, I have not read this.
I have not read this one either.
So, and I've not seen the movie.
I have seen the movie, but it was, 8 or 9 years ago?
And have you read it and seen the movie?
Yes, I have.
So we have 3 different perspectives when we read this. Why don't we give a quick synopsis?
So from the back of the book, once again, Earth is under attack. An alien species is poised for a final assault. The survival of humanity depends on a military genius who can defeat the aliens. But who? Ender
Pauly Shore.
Wiggins. Really? Hey, buddy.
Jeez.
Enter Wiggins. Ender Wiggins. Brilliant, ruthless, cunning, a tactical and strategic master, and a child. Recruited for military training by the world government, Ender's childhood ends the moment he enters his new home, Battle School. Among the elite recruits, Ender proves himself to be a genius among geniuses. He excels in simulated war games. But is the pressure and loneliness taking its toll on Ender? Simulations are one thing. How will Ender perform in real combat conditions? After all, Battle School is just a game, isn't it?
Interesting. So we're dealing with child exploitation? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I love child exploitation
Only in books, though.
in a fictional medium.
So
Yes.
this one, I can't remember. I thought it was like mid-'80s that I read that this one was published. So like 85-ish, somewhere in there.
That sounds about right.
And there's a series, right? This is just the first in an Ender's
Correct.
series.
I believe, so I bought the box set, or I got the box set as a gift a few years ago, and I believe there are 4 books in it.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, it kind of harkens back a little bit to, and not to get too spoilery, but I get some Dune elements in here as well. It kind of has that same sort of
So
items.
let's think about that for a minute. In the early 80s, if you're writing sci-fi, what else are you going to draw inspiration from?
True.
Star Wars, Dune,
Right.
Star Trek.
Alien.
I mean, if you're looking for literary sources to draw from, Dune is probably the creme de la creme.
And I did read the
Or the
introduction.
spice de la
yeah,
spice.
Ooh, yes.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I did read the introduction that Orson Scott Card wrote for this version that I bought. I can't remember when, but recently. And he talked about how he was influenced by Asimov, Heinlein, some of the other kind of early greats of sci-fi. So,
Okay.
Arthur C. Clarke, so
Sure.
stuff like that. But he didn't feel like he had the technical knowledge to write a real technical sci-fi, so he was really focused on character development, and he wanted to do it through the eyes of someone younger. So that's about all I really gathered from the introduction. There's some other things, but it was, I thought that was kind of an interesting take that we really
Sure.
haven't seen that. Probably in '85 it was unheard of. But.
Right. I mean, I've read hard military sci-fi
Mhm.
that's heavy on like details and technical exposition and
Yep.
things like that. I've read things that are character driven. They both work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mean, the first thing they tell you is, well, and I guess this is mixed, is but write what you know. And some
Yeah.
people are like, no, don't do that, because if you go out and you actually do the research and you learn, but I tend to write what I know.
But I tend to be drawn more towards character-driven stories than
Yeah.
you know. I don't care about all
Yeah.
the technical details because I will never know if it's accurate or inaccurate because I'm not going to take the time to do the research,
Yes.
and I'm not a physicist, so
That's why Michael Bay got away with disaster movies, Chip.
that's true.
Ooh. I'm just excited to go back, at least from my perspective. I read this as a much younger version of myself.
So you're like 13 or so, and
About, yeah.
somewhere
So like
early
3
teens.
or 4 years ago.
Yeah, feels like it sometimes, but maybe that's just my maturity level.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm excited to read it with a different context. Of course, you know,
Mhm.
as we've done in our other series, being able to experience a book in multiple stages of your life is important. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to going through with you guys.
I think it'll be fun to go back to sci-fi because I think Dune is really, of the books we've read so far, Dune's the only other real science fiction book that we've read.
It
Everything
is.
else has been more in the fantasy genre, hasn't
It
it?
is, yes. I think
So
that
it'd be
is
kind of fun to
accurate.
go back to sci-fi. And I didn't read a lot of sci-fi as a kid. I read a lot more fantasy. So I think the first sci-fi book I really read was probably Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
And Dune.
So,
I think I
anyway,
read Hitchhiker's Guide before Dune. So,
starting next episode,
yeah.
we'll be jumping into Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. So what we do at this point is we invite you, if you want to follow along, find yourself a copy. Mine is a used copy. It's got the movie imagery on it. Chip's does not. It's much nicer looking. Brian got a box set. But what we recommend is grab the book. We will...
I think there's only 15 chapters, so if we may do a chapter episode or two, but this one won't be nearly as long as
The words are a lot
Real
bigger,
time.
too.
like the actual
Like
words that he
larger.
chose
They're
or
larger.
the
The font
typeface.
is larger,
I
yeah.
was going to say, if the words are bigger, I might have to get a dictionary to understand.
But we invite you to get a copy of the book and follow along as we read. So we'll be sure to publish the chapters that we're doing and be sure to call out what we're doing next. So
All right.
that's always kind of fun if you jump in and follow along and contribute to the discussion in the comments section. So that's going to be the plan if you are going to do that, or if you liked what you just watched, we invite you to subscribe and hit that bell notification so that when we post new content, you'd hear about it. And that way, you're always informed as to what we're doing. So, until next time, when we jump back into the world of science fiction, it's been great, and we hope to see you there.
Alonzi.